I know I'm a little late to the party. Everyone's already making videos about Jaylen Brown getting traded to the Sixers. I just thought, as a world-renowned ball knower, I've got to get my opinion out because I'm sure all of NBA YouTube has been waiting on it. What a crazy trade, though. I know he was unhappy with the Celtics, especially after being offered up for Giannis after his MVP-type season. So he was feeling disrespected. He was probably going to get traded. And here it is. I mean, he gets traded to Philadelphia for Paul George and a couple first-round picks. That is abysmal if you're the Celtics front office. You could have gotten Giannis. I mean, you were offering up Jaylen Brown for Giannis. And there was a report today that said the deal fell apart because Giannis wanted a 3-year contract extension and Boston was only willing to give 2 years. So to scale down from Giannis to Paul George is terrible. I mean, you're going into next season with a Tatum and Paul George duo with Derek White and Pritchard as your guards and Mitchell Robinson as the center. I'm not moved by that team. I think we're going to see a lot of pressure on Tatum to be everything he was pre-Achilles tear. And I'm sure he'll be a great player. He looked fantastic coming off of his injury this season. But that's a lot to ask of a guy. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where Boston goes next season. Paul George was fine in Philadelphia. He'll be a really good floor spacer. He can shoot the lights out, but I don't think he's going to be anything close to what Jaylen Brown provided. As you can see in these highlights that I'm showing, like two-way star, could take the ball and go get a bucket as the number one guy. I mean, he's a tough shot maker, and that's a level that Paul George can't get to anymore. And this was just a boneheaded move from Boston's front office. I don't know what they were thinking. I feel like they could have held out for a better package than an aging Paul George on a max contract and a couple of picks. So this definitely scales Boston back next season. I think they're probably a play-in team. Maybe they'll overperform. Maybe Tatum has an excellent season and they sneak their way into the 6th seed, but I don't think this is a top team in the East. Not with how other teams have stepped up. Now, Philly, man, this is a dream scenario. They were looking at a situation where they got to pay an aging Paul George max contract money for the next 2 or 3 years, and they got to pay out Embiid the rest of his deal when he can hardly stay on the floor. And so across 2 aging superstars, they're paying half of their salary cap. So really not much they could have done there. And they're really relying on guys that aren't available to be a big part of their team. And they went ahead and flipped one of them for a top 15 to 20 guy in Jaylen Brown that can shoulder a huge amount of the offensive load. And next to Maxey and Edgecombe, this is a scary Philly team. I mean, when Embiid's out, you've got 3 guys that can go ahead and win games for you. Before this trade, they were looking at a world where they can't make any moves and 2 of their top guys aren't playing more than 30 to 40 games in a season. Philly fans, this is a great situation. We're looking at probably a top 3 team in the East next year because if nothing else, Jaylen Brown can stay healthy. He's been an Iron Man pretty much his whole career. This is not a guy that's ever had a big injury or takes a ton of games off or has little ailments throughout the season. Like, he comes and he plays really well. So it just makes me a little upset about my Detroit Pistons not really getting much for Cade. Lost Tobias Harris. Duran's situation's kind of up in the air right now. We don't know if we're going to get him back. Signed John Collins, Isaiah Joe. But man, all the other teams in the East, their guys are getting really good second options. They're getting great help around them. The Pistons got Cade Cunningham, John Collins. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a really big fan of that move. I think he's a little bit better than what Tobias Harris provided. But we're going to need a little bit more than that to stay competitive in this Eastern Conference because it is competitive next season. So, if nothing else happens with this Pistons roster, I really see this team sliding down to maybe the 4th or 5th spot in the East. I mean, when you see your competitors making moves to get better, it's a sign that you've got to step your game up. So I'll be interested to see what this Pistons front office does in these next couple weeks, what they do with Jalen Duren, if they make a trade for another star. We'll see, man, but these Eastern Conference teams are getting way better. Because I don't even think I've talked about the Kawhi deal on this channel. The Raptors went ahead and got Kawhi for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and some picks. I mean, if you add Kawhi to this past year's Raptors team, they probably go to the conference finals. They probably beat the Pistons in the second round if you're just simply replacing Ingram's minutes with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that's a huge upgrade. It's almost not even comparable how much better he is. So these teams are kind of passing up Detroit, and I'm kind of scared for what that means in the playoffs. I know Cade's that dude, but I don't think he can deal with these teams that have multiple stars and these guys that are teaming up that can really help make each other's games way better. Let's see. I've got some notes here on other stuff. 'Cause stuff keeps coming. I think it's safe to say this is like the busiest and maybe the best offseason in the past few years. So many stars are getting moved. So many players are changing teams. Crazy offseason, though. I can't wait to talk about more trades or more signings that happen. And hopefully my Pistons start locking in, man, because this could be scary.